Just a year or two ago, AI replacing jobs seemed like a fairy tale that is relevant sometimes in the future. 1 billion jobs could be lost to AI. Actually, according to these statistics, by 2030, 1 out of 4 people in America will have lost their job due to AI automation. And in Europe, those numbers are looking even worse. I mean, look at this robot that Google is developing. It's a language model just like ChatGPT, but it has a body that it can use to interact with the world. And that's why today it's time to look at strategies how to save yourself from this gigatrend. And we'll do that by looking at 6 strategies, which I will always round out with an actionable recommendation on how you can adjust starting today. So let's start by talking about my favorite, learning new skills. And this one is certainly not new. Across the last century, there has been this trend of society evolving to a form where you need to keep learning, need to keep adapting. You can't just sit on your university degree for your entire life anymore. The world changed and it doesn't work that way anymore. So my recommendation here would be keeping your eyes open and looking for those skills that are relevant in your industry. Particularly look at the ones that are mixed with creativity or problem solving. Because while ChatGPT can process and analyze data faster than any human, there are still areas where humans simply excel and will continue to do so. Emotional intelligence and critical thinking are 2 of these.
Alright, Igor, that's all well, but what concrete skills should I be building to stay ahead of the game?
Well, I would be looking at sales skills, project management, data analysis, digital marketing, or technical skills like learning a software that is relevant to your job or industry. It has never been easier to dive into a brand new software and learn it in like a weekend. And the beautiful thing about this is you don't need to become a master. All you need to do is become an advanced beginner that understands the core concepts that will allow you to interact with either AI or humans that are masters at that particular category, but now you can manage them. Okay, how do we do this though? Well, I can share what worked for me. Beyond the obvious choices like universities or actually learning on the job, in my eyes, this is really the golden era of learning. Knowledge has never been this accessible, and between YouTube, online courses, communities, and other resources all across the internet, you can meet people with similar interests online and develop your skills together. For example, learning the basics of software development has never been easier. Whenever you have a question, you can ask ChatGPT or Google your problem. And whenever you're starting a new project, you can use ChatGPT or GitHub Copilot to autocomplete your code and immediately be free to 10 times faster than what it took a year ago. But now the question presents itself, how would I even do that realistically? Well, I personally acquired all the skills that I have today via online courses. And there's many out there, but I'm happy to say that for today's video, I partnered with Brilliant, an online learning platform that really brings some unique features to the table here. And what I decided to do here is take some of the talking points that I want to tell you all about, and I ran them through GPT-4 in order to get a text in the style of Albert Einstein, as the guy was one of the biggest proponents of lifelong learning in human history. So let's do this.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Ah, my dear friends, allow me to introduce you to Brilliant.org, a platform that makes the everyday learning as exciting as discovering the theory of relativity. Brilliant.org, you see, is the best way to learn math and computer science in an interactive manner. Imagine having fun while expanding your mind. Fantastisch. Brilliant makes learning as enjoyable as playing a game. Compete with challenges and competitions with others, as if you're exploring the universe of knowledge with fellow curious minds, all while having a grand time. Now, my friends, I have a special offer for you to experience the brilliance of Brilliant.org for a full 30 days, absolutely free. Simply visit brilliant.org/theAIadvantage or click the link in the description below. But wait, there's more. For the first 200 of you who act quickly, you will receive a generous 20% of Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Dive into the vast universe of knowledge with Brilliant.org today. But on a serious matter, if you're looking to learn more about computer science or math, they have these interactive courses that make learning a lot more fun. All right, now let's continue. But beyond learning new skills, let's talk about the next point, which is building strong relationships. And again, ChatGPT is excellent at crunching and processing data very fast, but it can't build strong relationships with humans. This is your opportunity to go to work and actually interact with the human beings around you and build stronger connections. The goal is ultimately to become reliable, trustworthy, and easy to work with, because emotional intelligence is not something that can be replicated by AI, at least that aspect of two humans actually interacting. So for example, if you work in HR and your job is to hire new people, well, honestly, this job is going to be pretty safe because the CEO is always going to want another human reporting to him on how they felt about the new hires. Sure, there might be an aspect to it where AI helps in that decision-making process, but at the end of the day, a human is always going to be critical in that selection process. So now is the time to focus on working with others and being a team player, even if that means stepping outside of your comfort zone. But how would you do this? Well, my recommendation is use AI to your advantage. You can totally use ChatGPT to evaluate some interactions you had at work by asking, how would a person with an extremely high emotional intelligence handle this situation, insert situation? Okay, so the next point is kind of connected to everything we're talking about in today's video. Simply put, you have to be proactive. There's no way around this anymore. And by you still watching this, that means you are already proactive. You are looking for solutions. You are looking to take action to get ahead of this trend that is definitely happening. A great example would be event planners. Let's take a wedding planner. With bigger weddings, they're handling hundreds, maybe even thousands of invitations, and around 50 different partner companies where each one of them delivers something completely different. Trust me if I tell you that job is not gonna get done by them sitting back and waiting for everybody to do well. You need to be proactive in contacting them and making sure that everything is happening on time. Because if the flowers arrive after the guests, no excuse. At the end of the day, it's your responsibility and you should have been proactive as the wedding planner. A friend once told me this. He was like, Igor, as I get older, I realized, well, there's good excuses and there's bad excuses. But at the end of the day, both of these are just excuses. And when someone is trying to get something done, none of those two matter. They're just excuses. So you really need to be proactive to avoid those situations. But how would you do this? Well, again, you will need to step out of your comfort zone. By taking on new projects, seeking feedback, or experimenting, you will keep challenging yourself and learn the rules of the game. I'll give you a practical example. In my previous career as first a freelance videographer and then the owner of a small video production company, client work was at the core of my business. And one of the biggest things I learned over the years is that no matter how small the request by the client, if the client is taking action and emailing you to ask for it, you as the person that is supposed to deliver already failed. Very simple example is, let's say I'm making a video that is due tomorrow and I don't have it done by tomorrow. Now the client reaches out and asks,
Hey Igor, what's up with that video? What's happening?
Not just was the video on time, but even more importantly, I failed on communication. I should have been proactive and texted them, hey, there has been an issue in the video production pipeline. You'll get it in the next few hours. No worries. And look, as these tools evolve and get better at doing the jobs we're used to doing, the communication aspect and the human aspect will only grow in importance. So keep this in mind. Communicate proactively. Okay, my next point is going to be all about you. It's about focusing on your strengths. Because we're entering a world where if you're just below average at the thing you're doing, well, you're probably going to be first in line to get replaced. And one of the best ways to avoid this is not by focusing on what you're not good at. It's by looking at the things that you excel at and already have a natural advantage in doing, and then focusing on that and growing that skill incrementally. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're interested in the STEM fields and you decide to go into natural sciences. Well, no matter how that field evolves, you're playing to your strengths already because you're building on your interest. You were interested in the STEM fields and that's why you went into them. A lot of what you're going to be learning is going to be aligned with what you would be interested in anyway. And no matter what happens in your environment, you're still going to be interested in that topic and you're going to be eager to develop your skills, progress, and become better at certain skills than other people. But this point is not just about developing your skills, it's really about showcasing them too. Because who knows, you might be the best novel writer in the world, but if you never publish any work, nobody's gonna know and it's not gonna matter to others, alright? So here's my tip on how to get through that. And I'm sorry, but you probably won't like this one. It's a very simple concept called do extra work.
This is the worst.
This also I learned during the freelance part of my career. You only get paid for what is in your portfolio. Almost no client is going to hire you for something that you would like to do. They want to see examples of that work. And if you have none, you will have to start by doing it for free to build those examples to show to other people. So yeah, the best way to showcase your unique abilities is by starting off for free. Okay, so point 5 is all about staying informed. This is really an extension of the concept of lifelong learning that we have been talking about. Because right now, if you want to stay ahead of ChatGPT, it's really quite simple. It only has data up to mid-2021. So by simply doing a Google search, you already have an advantage over the AI right now. But as you know, this is already changing. With Microsoft's Bing and Google's Bard, this will be the year of AI-powered search engines, and doing a Google search will not cut it anymore. So again, you will need to go a step further. You will need to keep your eyes on multiple publications and filter through your own experiences. And this can come in any form: reading blogs, watching YouTube videos, attending conferences, and obviously talking to other people with similar interests. All of this will provide you with unique data that, filtered through your experiences, is gonna give you a unique perspective. But how do you do this? This is kind of a hard one. My number one recommendation is what I've been doing all my life, and that is finding hobbies that force you to learn. Whenever you pick up a new hobby that you've never done before, but that is really challenging, you enter this new world and you're really explorer, and everything you see and touch is unknown to you because you're picking up a new skill. And just by doing that, it will improve your ability to adjust to new situations. Just because you did it voluntarily, and that's because you put yourself into a new situation voluntarily. Your body will learn that, hey, we have done this already because we want it, so we can do it again. And it really breaks down this wall of, whew, that seems like a great challenge. And talking about great challenges, this brings me to my final and most important point on how to save your job from ChatGPT and similar AI technologies. It's simple and obvious, but the nuances are important here. You need to adapt. That is the number one thing. Realize that we just entered a whole new chapter of humanity, okay? We're actually entering an AI-dominated economy where this will only become more of a part of our lives. And as I pointed out, this is a trend that has been happening since a while. I mean, look at the last few centuries. Humanity had to adapt from an agriculture-driven society and transition to the industrial age. And now we're making the move from the industrial age to the technology-driven age. So for most people, especially in the Western world, being a farmer does not work anymore. But hey, you might be saying,
Igor, that is kind of an obvious point. Yes, I understand I need to adapt, but how do I do that?
well, you're in luck. I've been forced to adapt all my life, and I have some tips for you. First of all, you need to accept that you're going to fail. That's just how it is. Most of the things that are required in the workplace or with some of these skills we've been talking about are not built into us. We need to learn them, and humans are really good at learning by doing, but along the way you're going to fail. So accept the fact that that is going to happen. But failing alone is not enough. You really need to learn from your mistakes, and that is so critical because I met a lot of people in my life where I realized that, oh, they keep making mistakes, and not just that, they take the right lessons from those mistakes. And then there's a second set of people which keep failing too, but they don't really learn from the mistakes. They just keep repeating them. And even worse, in some of the cases, they take the wrong lessons from the mistakes and they start going off into the wrong direction. And then what happens could be compared to somebody driving a car with a broken GPS. They're gonna start making incorrect decisions and arrive at a completely different destination than what they set out to reach. So don't be afraid to fail, learn from your lessons, and in the end, and maybe most importantly, make sure you took away the right lessons. And if you do that, no matter what happens around you, no matter how the environment shifts, you're going to be ready to do one of these and adjust accordingly. But honestly, by you following this channel, you're already kind of on the right track, because keeping up with these AI related topics right now is, in my opinion, one of the best things you can do to stay ahead. But at this point, I would ask you for one thing, and that is sharing this video with somebody who needs it, because you're obviously trying to stay on top of your game, but maybe there is somebody you know that needs a little bit of a push in the right direction. And I hope that this video can help those people too, so feel free to share it with them. All right, and if you want to keep building your advantage by developing your AI related skills, this video will do exactly that, and I'll see you soon.